The average NFL player, if they practiced like the top 10% of salespeople, would be off the team in 3 weeks. Don't fail using tenacity to keep going. Change failure and use tenacity to grow. So the whole idea in business is make as much money as you can in as little time as you can by adding as much value as you can. And here's the problem. The problem with managers teaching people and developing people is they don't have the time. Yeah. So it's been a real breakthrough. Managers are going to go, this is like a gold mine.
All right, we're here at the Greatness Factory of Nashville.
Hey,
Level
what's
10,
going on?
Level 10 Studios. This is another edition of the Big Table Podcast, and I do believe lots of people want to sit at a bigger table, which I like to define as the biggest game in business.
Whew, I love it.
It's highly enjoyable.
It's so enjoyable.
It's highly profitable. It's highly meaningful. Okay, there's 3 returns on the big table: energy, objective, investment. So this podcast is really geared toward helping people get a seat at a much bigger table. And I've got my good friend Todd Duncan, who is a legend, right? I think it's like somebody one day, it was a sales trainer, said, man, I got the original OG here. And I'm like, I'm not the original OG, but you're one of the original OGs. Is that a compliment to you? Or?
Well, I was introduced the other day as the Todd Father, so that should tell you something.
The Todd Father.
Yeah,
I like that.
The Todd Father.
I like that. Well, I mean, I think, I think people of interest have kind of lived a fascinating life. I think you have. You've been around a lot of fascinating people. You've done a lot of fascinating things. I sent Mike Hardwick that you were going to be here, tonight at the Greatness Factory. And he's like, oh, yeah, we go way back, which I knew that. I was like, hey, if any of your people want to come, But you wrote High Trust Selling, which you became really known for. Because I've got people today who've been reaching out to me saying, hey, I've been studying Todd Duncan stuff for years. And a lot of the mortgage people have come out of the woodwork seeing that you're here at the Greatness Factory. So they've been reaching out to me like, hey, I live here. Can I get a link to watch Whiskey and Wisdom tonight?
Oh, that's be fun.
So, I think when you go back to the beginning, you started just as a practitioner of just selling mortgages.
That's it.
At the end of the day, did you feel like it was a job or your voice, or was it like, hey, I got to go find some way to make money?
Well, I think everybody at some point is going to have to make a decision. How do I make money? Because we're all going to be survivalists or we're not. It's going to be that simple, right? So at the end of the day, it was like I have my college degree. I started off with a desire to be a doctor. Okay. My dad was a doctor. Okay. Went to Colorado, joined the ski team. Okay. Ended up first semester with a 1.2 GPA. My dad's paying out-of-state tuition, and he said to me one day, he said, "You've got one semester, bring your grades up, or you're not going to be a doctor." And I said, "Okay, Dad, I'll bring it up." So semester goes by, and he gives me a call, and he says, "How's it looking? How are you going to finish?" And I go, "Dad, I brought my GPA up." And he goes, "To what?" I go, 1.7. And he goes, "Son, that's not good enough. Yep. When you come home for Christmas, we're going to have a different conversation about your future." So I call this my driveway destiny with dad convo. Okay. And my dad looks me in the eyes in the driveway of his home, and he says to me, he says, "I love you. You're not going to be a very good doctor. I can just tell you that right now. God did not build you to be a doctor." Yep. And I go, "Dad, what did he build me to do?" And my dad said, he built you to be in the people business. Okay. He said, "You're a great business person. You sold more candy in Little League than anybody. You have a landscaping company you started at the age of 16. Okay. You should go to business school." And he looked me in the eyes and he goes, "So there's 3 great business schools in California. Stanford's one of them, my alma mater. Okay. And USC's another one. And I'm not paying for either one of those." Okay. Okay. But he said there's this little state college called Cal State Fullerton that has the number 3 business school in the state. So you go there and I'll pay for it. Wow. And so I went to Cal State Fullerton. I graduated with a 3.96 in business. Okay. And I had a 4th of July party a month after I graduated, and my Little League coach owned a real estate and mortgage company. Okay. And we just had a chat by the barbecue, and he says, "What are you going to do?" And I flipped a coin. realtor or mortgage.
Wow.
And I chose mortgage. And I had that conversation on a Thursday, started in the mortgage business on a Monday, had no idea.
Okay.
Zero. What to do. I had like a half a day of training. Here's your desk, here's your phone.
Okay.
Good luck, Todd, you're on your own.
Yep.
But I figured out something very early in my career. Don't fail just using tenacity to keep going.
Okay.
Change failure and use tenacity to grow.
Okay.
So I tell people all the time, you can be as tenacious as you want with the wrong strategy.
Yep.
And tenacity has no value.
Yep.
But if you're situationally present, situationally aware, like cold calls hurt and I'm getting rejected and maybe I chose the wrong career and I'm about ready to go to the beach and stop making sales calls, if that's kind of your mindset, there's probably somebody that has figured out not how to have that mindset. So at the end of my second week, I was getting destroyed.
Okay.
I mean, doors shut, slammed. I would drop off flyers. People would throw them in the trash can right in front of me. It was like I was just getting obliterated. And then somebody told me that this company I worked for, which is called Mission Hills Mortgage, was actually co-branded by the real estate community as Mission Impossible Mortgage. They couldn't get a loan done. So I'm going, what am I doing here? And I called my friend whose dad owned a real estate company, and I did not know at that moment it was going to be a breakthrough. But my grandmother had told me,
okay,
if you ever don't know what to do, find somebody who's done it and call them.
Yep.
So I call my friend. He says I can go by the real estate office. I go into the real estate office, and I sit there for 3 hours, and I watch everybody coming through the front door doing exactly what I had been doing, which was getting clobbered. Nobody wanted to do business with people walking through the front door.
Yep.
This guy comes in at 4 o'clock. He's my height. He looks like a millionaire. He's dressed in this beautiful blue suit, tie, nice shirt. Walks in with this leather folio, looks at the receptionist and says, my name is John Barnes and I have an appointment with Paula Richardson.
Okay.
And right there I saw something. I didn't have an appointment with anybody.
Yep.
But I'd be walking in and I'd be getting clobbered. And so then I see Paula come out. What I didn't know is Paula was #1 in America for RE/MAX.
Okay.
And I did not know that John was 34 years old and funding about 500 loans a year.
Okay.
But he came in with an appointment. Looked very successful.
Yep.
She came out, met him. They disappeared for 45 minutes. I called on like 30 people in 45 minutes.
Okay.
It was just he and she for 45 minutes. And they walked out. He shook her hand, and he said, I look forward to a long and mutually profitable partnership.
Yep.
And she said, me too. He walked out the front door. I followed him. I stopped him in the parking lot. I said, I have no idea who you are. I am brand new to lending, but I want to be like you. I want to be like you.
Yep.
And so what ends up happening is we talk in the parking lot for 20 minutes. And I go, how'd you make that happen? And he said, well, I had a referral to Paula. My mentor told me never make a call on somebody who's not excited to have you call on them.
Okay, that's good.
And number 3, never leave that call without giving 10% more than you asked for.
Yeah.
That recipe changed my career instantly.
Okay.
And I started doing business by appointment only. I got people excited about meeting with me.
Okay.
And I engaged a referral universe because I would always give more than I took. And that was it.
Say those 3 rules again.
Number 1 was to never make a call on somebody. Well, first of all, never make a cold call.
Okay.
Always make a warm call.
Okay.
Always calling people that you have an intro into that person. Secondly, never make a call on somebody that's not excited to have you make a call on them. They're not thirsty for what you have. And never leave an appointment ever without giving at least 10% more than you're taking.
Yep.
And that rule began to follow because if my commission might be worth $1,000, what if I gave them $10,000 of value?
Yep.
What if I gave them an idea that changed their life? What if I did something that had never been done for them, and all of a sudden they go, you saved my marriage, or you did something like that. So I quickly dropped the label of loan officer. It was boring, number 1.
Yeah.
I don't want to be an officer of anything.
Yep.
I want to be an advisor. And so I talked to my manager and I said, can I change my title? And he goes, to what? And I go, to mortgage advisor. Okay. I don't want to be a consultant. I don't want to be an officer. I want to be an advisor.
Okay.
And as soon as I made that decision, John took me under his wings and mentored me for 3.5 years. And I did more loans in 9 years than most people do in 4 decades.
Yeah.
And then it just got bigger from there.
But somewhere, you obviously had a lot of prey drive. Okay, you had a lot of instinct.
Yes.
Because some of the things you're doing here, the average cat the average cat doesn't do, right? Like I get like you know, I've been coaching a mortgage guy for 7-8 years. He's doing $150 million a year. He's my best friend, and I'm his coach. It's a cool thing because all my friends still pay me to be their coach.
Yeah,
you know,
good.
And but I pay them for the mortgages too. But he could have a guy sitting right over there that just for some reason doesn't activate that instinct. And he could watch this dude do $150 million. He could maybe think about doing bigger things, but he never just walks over to his office and says, "Hey man, what are you doing to do $150 million?" So where did that come from in you? Was it survival? Was it because of your conditioning, the way you were raised? Did your father teach you that? Like, hey, take the +1, go figure it out. Because a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah. I started off in those first several weeks, and then maybe the first 2 months, I had a lot of fear. Okay. A lot of call reluctance, a lot of fear.
Okay.
And I realized that the more I focused on call reluctance and fear, the more call reluctance and fear became present in my life. And so one of the things that I learned in the parking lot when John told me never make a call on somebody that's not excited to have you make a call on them is I would have call excitement instead of call reluctance. And I learned that call reluctance was based on all the failed calls that happened yesterday and behind, and call excitement could be on all the calls I make today and going forward. I had to leave history behind. I had to leave failure behind. I had to realize that cold calling did not have high conversion. It did not have high relationship attractiveness. And call excitement was like, if somebody's going to be excited to have me make a call on them, the only way that's going to happen is for me to have excitement when I call them to set the call.
Right.
And so I started this excitement kind of movement where I could take my mind and I could say, how could I change the word fear from something that was casting. I was told by my mentor, he said, you're giving your power away if you have call reluctance. You know, don't think that a call is going to go the wrong way before it even goes the wrong way, because you are predicting the future. He said, if you're excited to make the call, not only will you create excitement when you make the call, but you will also become more picky about who you do business with, because if you have confidence, you don't want to lower your standards. You want to raise your standards. So for me, the two things were fear. How do you turn fear into power? How do you take this idea that fear is something I put on the future, and how do I really own it? And the thing I learned was practice. And the reason I learned that practice was so important is because fear is like, I don't have confidence, therefore I have fear. If I have confidence, that means I am competent. If I'm competent and I have confidence, then I'm going to be consistent. And so all of a sudden I changed my whole thought process. Like fear no longer stands for, false expectations appearing real. It stands for, feeling excited and ready. Today I can make a call to anybody in the world. I don't care what their position is. And within about 5 minutes, I can have them excited enough to meet with me. And that was the big turning point. And then the second big turning point is once I understood that, I got laser focused on something, and that was I get to choose who I do business with. I don't want to be a vendor. I want to be the partner that is called the best option. I don't ever want a reputation where I'm just one of many. I want a reputation where I'm worth waiting for. And when I found out that worth waiting for was a big decision, I no longer had any reluctance. I had no branding fear whatsoever. I had my partner say, Todd is not the cheapest. Todd is not the fastest, but Todd is the best, and you will be in good hands. But just so you know, it may take him a day or two to get back to you. And I hadn't built staff yet, right? But they were kind of conditioned around the idea he is so good, he's worth waiting for. And that became everything, because everybody else would, they'd go anywhere at any time for any they'd do a loan at the bottom of a swimming pool with a scuba tank on at midnight if that's what it took. I didn't go make calls on people. I made them come to me. I was worth coming into because I was a consultant advisor, and for you and I to get to know each other, we were going to build a relationship where I would help you with your mortgage for the rest of your life. And I'm not a transaction guy, and so I made this decision early on that I am going to be about relationships. So again, there's two ways to sell: transactionally or relationally. And so this John guy, my height, dressed gorgeously, 500 loans a year, he said, you have to make a choice between transactions and relationships. And I said, well, what's the difference? I mean, I was still young enough to not know really what that meant. And he said to me, he goes, and this is a big table comment. This is a huge table comment. He said to me, transactions will make you a living.
Okay.
Relationships will make you a fortune.
Okay.
He said, if you focus on the transaction, you're going to be one and done, and you're always going to be hunting for your next deal.
Right.
If you focus on the relationship, you're not going to be one and done. You're going to build the relationship, and the relationship is going to bring the transactions. Yeah. And when I looked at that and I started realizing that I could have 10 people giving me a loan each, or I could have 2 people giving me 5, or 1 person giving me 10.
Right.
Then I started realizing that was my marketing plan. And John looked at me in that parking lot and he said, I don't know what you're doing for marketing or anything like that, but if I took all your marketing away tomorrow, where would you get your next loan? And I couldn't answer it.
Yeah.
So I made a decision right then and there that I was going to be relationship focused. And 11 and a half years later, 6,000 loans. 6,000 loans.
Wow. Well, let's dissect that a little bit.
Yeah.
When you decided to be relational driven versus transactional, okay, what specifically did you start doing? Is it the way you made people feel? Did you give off the impression of increase? Did you work hard at how you personally connected with each person?
Probably a little bit of all that. What I stopped doing was asking for business.
Okay.
Because when I would walk in and go up to every single real estate agent and ask them if they're working with any buyers, I hadn't earned the right yet to even ask that question.
Yep.
And they would go, I am, and I already have a lender. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Or they would say, I'm not. Sorry. Check in with me next week. Well, either one of those I wasn't going to be able to get business with. And what I realized that was so powerful was when John said, if you work by referral only, then you will have a seat at that table with that real estate agent.
Okay.
And so what I did is I decided that I was going to go very, very big on 2 promises, one to a title company and one to an escrow company. And the promise was, if you help me find the right relationships, I will give you all of my title work for the rest of my life.
Interesting.
And nobody had ever done that. And so Ron Songrath was one of them. Karen Mahalik was the other. Ron was a top title rep. Karen owned a top escrow company. And here's the deal. I got really, really lucky. I'd call Ron and I'd say, Ron, I need to add 1 realtor. Who should it be? And I remember Ron saying, you should add Sets Mori at Century 21 Agency. She's one of the top realtors in Anaheim, California. Call her and use my name. Sets, it's Todd Duncan with Mission Hills Mortgage. Ron Songrath gave me your name. He wanted me to introduce you to an exciting business building idea designed to help you make more revenue. It takes about 60 seconds. Is this a good time? Referral, value, 60 seconds. The program's called the Consumer Referral Program. It's designed to bring you buyers and sellers each and every day through a co-marketing initiative that you and I would take together. My job is to bring you buyers and sellers. Your job is to give me first right of refusal on all of your buyers. And together I can help add 1 to 10 transactions a month to your business. 46 seconds. Would you like to meet and talk about it? Sure. Had 100% conversion to appointments and had a 95% conversion to relationships. So stop doing ask for the business. Start doing make it about you. First question I asked Sets when we met, before I even tell you about the Consumer Referral Program, help me understand what's important about being successful to you. And that dialogue unlocked 5 to 7 minutes of core values. And at the end, it was happiness, it was peace of mind, it was pride, it was achievement, it was all those things that were deeply emotional. And I remember when she said to me, I want to wake up every day as a realtor and for my family and my community, know I'm making a difference. All I had to do with Sets for the next 11 years is use making a difference to connect with her emotionally. And then anything we talked about in terms of doing business was just an add-on to making that happen. And this is where 99% of salespeople, I don't care what you sell,
Yep.
99% of salespeople make the mistake of features, benefits, and economics. There's nothing wrong with those, but if they come before emotional connection, you're dead.
Yeah.
And so I spent my whole career focusing on making people cry.
Okay.
And asking deep questions about family and dreams and what people want to do.
Yep.
And people ask me, well, what's the interest rate? And I said, well, right now it's not really important. I want to discover what you need to do and want to do over the next 5, 10, 15 years. And then I can architect. Listen to this. I'm a mortgage guy.
Right.
And I use the word, I can architect
Yep.
a custom home loan solution for you.
Okay.
Everybody else is quoting rate. Everybody else is making promises.
Yep.
Everybody else is baiting and switching.
Yep.
And I'm sitting here in integrity with trust, which has now become my backbone.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with trust and a referral and making people cry in my first interview.
Okay.
When people cry emotionally about something as big as making a decision that's going to impact their family for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, maybe for life, then I own them in a beautiful emotional way. We have a friendship. It's not like, and the more I realized that I don't need to try to get anything.
Yeah.
And the more that I doubled down on giving, the more I got.
Yeah.
And I just became a giver, long before the book was written on the Go-Giver Principle, which is a great book.
Right.
But the Bible says that one man withholds unduly and comes to poverty. Another man gives freely and comes to wealth. The generous person will prosper. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
In the refreshment business.
Yes. I am in the refreshment business.
Well, I think, it's like, I think about these I think one thing people would want to know, because when I was watching, a lot of interviews you did to prepare for this, what it made me think about is, gosh, we could go so much deeper with clients. We could go, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like we could get back to doing things we used to do that for some reason we've gotten away from doing, right? Like I have a relationship selling system. It's more a series of movements and actions, but it's the real interactions, like the things that I always think, when's the last time my mortgage person sat down with me like you used to with those people and did a mortgage plan or a synopsis of what they're doing, what their goals were, what their hopes was? When was the last time a real estate agent did that for me to say, okay, you got all these whatever, lodges, and what do you want to do? And who knows? I may say, I want to sell this and do this and consolidate this and do this. It could create a multi-million-dollar sale for them.
Yeah.
But it's like they don't know to do it, they don't think about doing it, or they're just caught up in the business of just picking up the phone and cold calling people, right? What comes along and interrupts those patterns of just the everyday business to get them to slow down and be more relational versus transactional?
I think they have to, first of all, understand the model, right?
Okay.
There's a restaurant in New York City called DB Bistro.
Okay.
And they charge about $36 for a cheeseburger.
Okay.
And if you've ever gone there, they want to know in the first couple of minutes at the table, what brought you there? What excites you about being there? And what's important about having the best burger you've ever had in your life to you? And we've heard so much about it, and we just can't even wait to sink our teeth into it. Everybody tells us it's so good and blah, 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 right? Now, $36 a cheeseburger is their business model. And the amount of people that go back is about 7 out of every 10 people are second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time.
Okay.
Like I've been there 22 times. And every time I'm in New York City, I'll take whoever I have gone with or whatever couples we're hanging out with.
Yep.
Now, you can easily in your car drive through McDonald's and you can get a cheeseburger real fast. McDonald's is $1 billion company. They make more money than DB Bistro, but DB Bistro's business model is more value, higher price, less volume. Okay? I decided that the relationship model is more value, higher price, less value, less volume.
Yep.
But I can make more volume out of making a difference in your life. And the book in the, it was probably the early 90s, was called The Discipline of Market Leaders, written by a guy named Tracy.
Okay.
And he said that you just choose your value proposition. So what I decided to do is the first value proposition was relationship. The second was transactions come from that. I will never lower my price. I will always offer more value.
Okay.
And so whatever it was, I mean, I will not lower my price. I'm worth waiting for. Right? I'm not going to be in the concession business, and I'm going to be so good that you're going to feel bad not doing business with me. Now, that didn't come from being cocky.
Right.
It didn't come from having an attitude. You know, I didn't have to have sewn into my suit like some of these real estate show guys have. I'm the closer, right?
Okay.
No, I just wanted to build a relationship with you because here's what I learned. I learned that you're going to do 7 mortgages in your lifetime.
Yeah.
And I learned I'd rather have you sell me than me sell 6 more people.
Right.
And that was my absolute decision of a lifetime. The second thing I decided is that if I do you right, then you're going to tell people about me. And this led to probably one of the biggest breakthroughs. And this has nothing to do with mortgage. This has to do, whatever your brand is, this has to do with client retention, and it has to do with what's called endorsement value.
Okay.
Endorsement value is free marketing. Endorsement value means you do people so well that they will stand on the mountaintops and tell the world about you. And I decided that that was my rallying call. That was my North Star.
Okay.
So if I could do you so well that at a cocktail party you would tell all your friends about your new home and who your mortgage person was, then all I had to do was stay in touch with you and call you once a year and maybe send you, a voice memo or, I didn't have email at the time, but send you a personal note or something like that I valued you, appreciated you, and just stay top of mind. I wasn't over marketing, right? But I would have a physical phone call with you once a year because I believe that, like, if I did Coach Burt's mortgage and it was your first mortgage and it was a brand new home for you and your wife and you hadn't had a family yet, I'm going to say, you guys going to have a family? And you're going to go, yes. And I go, what's the plan? And you're going to go, we want to have a couple kids. When are you going to have them? Probably in the next 3 or 4 years. Awesome. So we're going to start off with this 2-bedroom, right? And you're probably going to want to move up to a 3 or 4 bedroom, and then I'll help you find the buyer for your 2-bedroom. I'll help you find the buyer or help you find the seller for your 3-bedroom. My real estate agent that helped you find this home and I will do this thing together and boo-boo. It's all about kind of that. That's an easy deal because now I get 3 times the business out of one relationship.
Right.
And so I would call every single year and ask 6 or 7 questions. How's your money doing? How's your returns doing? How's your job doing? How's your health doing? How's your family doing? And then I would always ask, how's your financial planner, CPA, and legal team doing for you?
Yep.
And whenever they said great, then I had a referral. And whenever they said not so great, I had a referral.
Right.
Either way, I had a referral. And what I ended up realizing is that I say to people, and have you ever, as a speaker, said something for like the first time, and people react, and you kind of like, you're on stage, and you kind of go, I got to remember that.
Yes.
It gotta laugh.
Yeah.
It gotta. So I said one time, here's a news flash.
Okay.
If you want your clients for life, you have to talk to them during their life. And everybody's going, oh, shit, so what? And it's like, you can prospect till the cows come home and have low conversion.
Yeah.
And you don't have to prospect, and you have high referral. I told somebody yesterday, I said, you guys have to change your language. You guys use the word leads too much. In my world, it's not about leads.
Yeah.
My world is referrals.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. Leads have no trust.
That's right.
In you.
Yeah.
You just have a lead. A referral not only has trust in you, they have trust in advance of even talking to you, but they also have social proof, endorsement value from somebody else.
Right.
So I can talk to 75% less people and have 75% more conversion, and my life becomes so easy.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. So this is not mortgage, not real estate, it's none of this. It's retention. If you have transactional value that will repeat itself, Tom Hopkins calls it sales cycles.
Okay.
Repeat sales cycle. What is the repeat sales cycle of your client? And whatever it is, if you don't get the next cycle, you've done something wrong.
Yeah.
And I just made that my rallying call, and I did a model yesterday. We might get into this. I won't go there right now. But here's the deal. This is not what I did to be a successful mortgage practitioner only. It's what I do today as an international business owner to do it today.
Right.
I landed in Sydney, Australia on June 2nd of this year. Mm-hmm. I had 32 appointments with huge businesses.
Okay.
Qantas.
Yes.
Commonwealth Bank of Australia.
Yep.
REA, the Zillow of Australia.
Yep.
I knew nobody.
Okay.
Why? Because John Barnes told me when I was 23 in the loan business, never make a call on somebody who doesn't know you're going to make a call. I'm not flying to Australia to make cold calls. Make sure they're excited to meet with you. Yeah. And don't leave that call without giving 10% more than you're asking for.
Yeah.
In 38 days, 32 calls, 7 days of vacation, minimum of $7 million in volume.
Yeah.
$7 million in sales.
Yeah.
And it could be as high as $40 million by the time that whole cycle is done.
Yeah.
But how can I fly to a country and already have 32 appointments set up?
Yeah. That's a big takeaway.
And that's what I'm asking people to consider today. I've been running my business for my brand, I should say, for 40 years. And I have to look everybody in the eye and say, I do this.
Right.
I do this.
Right.
I made $400,000 yesterday from somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. Hey, it's Coach again. If you're serious about accelerating your path to the big table, I've got an opportunity for you. You can schedule a free call with a member of my team to talk about your goals, what's holding you back, and how we can help unlock the next level of growth for you. But let me be clear, this call isn't for just anyone. It's for business leaders and entrepreneurs who've already experienced success, but know there's another level to be unlocked. There's a bigger table, and you want a seat at that table. If this is you, head to freecall.coachburt.com and book your free call today. Again, that's freecall.coachburt.com, and I'll see you at the big table. So when you think about the big table,
isn't that big enough?
It is. That's a big day right there. I love it. I love it. I think about the skill you have, the problem, the size of problem you solve, and the vehicle that you choose to distribute that talent through. So when you're looking at business models, let's take the mortgage business. You've been in the coaching business, mortgage business, technology business, real estate business. When you look at those, do you go, this one's a better vehicle than that one? Do you look at them and go, that's a hard business to be in? Do you think of it like that? Because I remember once I was with an influencer, a guy you would know and I would know, and I was so proud that I had grown the coaching business, the membership, and I had, 700 members at the time, and that was many, many years ago. And he looked at me and he said, what you have, Coach Burt, is a very expensive adult babysitting service. And I went home that night and I was so devastated because I'm like, this is what I do for a living is I coach people and this is all I've ever done. But when he said that to me, it triggered in me. I started thinking business models, right? There's some businesses I'm involved in today and I go, now that's a great business to be in. There's high demand. There's low supply. There's not as much energy I put into it. There's exponential returns, right? And then I go, that's a tough business. This is a better business than that one. Is that the way you look at businesses today? Or do you look at it like, obviously you could improve any business with your technologies, right? Your know-how. I could apply what you're teaching to any business I'm in. But when you think about the businesses you've been in, because you've bought businesses, you've sold businesses, you've got technology businesses, AI-powered businesses now, you got a personal brand. How do you look at that when you're thinking about it at this stage in your life? And if you had to go backward, would you have stayed in the mortgage business longer? Would you get like I looked at it like, hey, I was a basketball coach at the peak of my career. I was working 320 hours a month. I'm making $55,000. I go over and speak. I make more in an hour than I make in 320 hours. I go, this is a better vehicle than that one. Then I go down the road 17 years of doing that, right? Being on the road and traveling and speaking and made millions of dollars. Yeah. And then I go, but gosh, man, that's been a tough business, right? So now I'm at the point in my life of using the skill to solve I've got a deal right now that literally I could use the skill. If it works the way it's supposed to, it could be a $25 million payout to me for that skill. Same skill I've been using, just in a different way for a different company. So how do you look at that when it comes to vehicles? What's your philosophy?
I don't know that I'm as sophisticated as picking a vehicle as much as I am picking a culture, I believe that inherently anybody that trades labor for income would like more income from less labor.
Yes.
And I believe that I am a messenger of how to do that.
Okay.
And so when I look at what I say yes to, for me, it was as natural to start a company helping other mortgage people learn how to do what I had done successfully.
Okay.
No different than it was for you to be a coach and come into this and say, why not have a coaching company?
Right.
And the adult babysitting thing is the same thing every manager in the world faces.
Yep.
And the problem with all accountability is the intervals are too long.
Okay.
And the pass-through rate of implementation is too small.
Okay.
And you know that and I know that.
I do.
Have you ever spoken for somebody where the guy has come up to you at the end and said, thanks so much. I keep telling these guys the same thing.
Yes.
But for some reason today, they really resonated with you,
yes.
Coach. I got tired of that.
Yeah.
And I had a moral, ethical, and fiduciary responsibility at the end of the day that started with that parking lot conversation.
Okay.
And that parking lot conversation was leave that realtor better off than they were when you got there.
Okay.
And I've spoken all over the world. I've made millions and millions and millions of dollars speaking. Mm-hmm. And this same moral dilemma has been with me for 20 years.
Yep.
And the moral dilemma was, I love my fee. I love the impact.
Yep.
I love standing ovations. I hate not knowing what's happening when I leave.
Yeah.
And so the reason why the technology company was created was not to replace this, not to replace what we do on stage and the joy that we have being in the energy of, live events and things like that. It was to solve the moral dilemma for me. And so what I've now done is I've taken the technology company Fuel and I've installed it in my personal speaking brand. So when you hire me now, I not only do a speech for you, but everybody in that audience is plugged into my technology solution immediately so that they can stay on point. You heard Jim Rohn during your career say that there's this thing called the law of diminishing intent.
Okay.
You know this as a coach.
Yep.
Intending to do something and doing something are far two different things.
Yep.
And what Jim Rohn used to say is the longer the gap between wanting and doing, the less likely you will do. Mm. And he said it's about 72 hours. Listen, audience, it's Friday. We're going to be done here in about 21 minutes. And how many of you already have gotten an idea you want to implement? Every hand in the room goes up. He goes, you have till Monday this time to implement it. Otherwise, there's a 95% chance you're not going to implement it.
Yeah.
I don't look at business models. What I'm looking at is, for me, it's impact. My goal in life right now, first of all, and I always kind of preface this because I don't want this to come off the right way. I have nothing to prove.
Yep.
And I have everything to offer.
Yep.
And so my whole modality right now is how many tens of millions of people can I now offer a better solution for your life experience? And I'm doing it through companies that desire to create a culture of happy employees because we know that brings between 20 and 25% higher profitability. And happy people off the job are happy people on the job. And so if I can come at this from a solution of this is not just about a selling model. I mean, I've written books on life management. I've written books on customer service. It's not just about selling. It's about transformation. And so instead of thinking today relationships with companies, I still believe that, but I believe that I'm not here to speak, I'm here to transform. Yeah. And if you tell me that that's what you would like in 45 minutes, I'm going to tell you I can't do it in 45 minutes.
Right.
But I can start it in 45 minutes. And the day I leave, the minute I leave, everybody's going to be connected to me for the next 60 days. Yep. And that transformation will be very, very real. Yep. And so I don't even have a business like we're going into. It's like I just got hired to speak for John Deere tractors. Yep. I've never spoken to people that sell tractors. Right. But I know they want to sell tractors well, and I know they want a better life. And got hired by a Bic Pens. Yep. How do you teach an organization to solve that, right? Right. And it's so far beyond mortgages right now, and so I just look for me today. Our goal is to have 100 million people in the next 24 months that are on our platform. Yep. And We believe that our conversion rate of 12% on a world population of 8 billion is a legitimate number. And if we can get 1 billion people using this platform, there's no limitation anymore. And I'm not doing it because I need anything. And let's just go down that path for a sec. Stop needing.
Yeah.
Don't ever feel you need to make sales calls. My goodness.
Right.
Gotta. How about instead of I gotta make calls, how about, man, how lucky am I? I get to make calls today. Yeah. Or I need to make calls. Well, need. The more you need, the more needy you are. And that's not a healthy perspective to be in.
Right.
And the only way fear goes away is with practice that leads to confidence, that leads to consistency.
Yep.
When I was learning how to fly planes, Coach, I wasn't very good at landing. And can I tell you something? As a pilot, you better be good at landing. And my instructor said, listen, we're going to have to spend the next month just on landing. And 162 practice landings later, he signed off on, I'm okay with you landing a plane by yourself.
Wow.
And now I can land a plane fearlessly. I just love it, right?
Yeah.
But it was like, you're going to die. You have no problem talking to the tower. You have no problem taking off. You have no problem flying around. But
That's
you
funny.
suck at landing.
Well, I think this is so important because, coming from the basketball world, we trained every day.
Yeah.
We simulated.
Yep.
We tested. We come up with scenarios.
Yeah.
So when I got into corporate America and started coaching, I'm like, well, nobody's training and developing.
Right.
There's no testing. And there's no content. There's no selling system, right? And I used to say, well, military trains every day. They don't hand a person a machine gun and say, watch a video. Good luck, right? When I bought a Hawker in 2017, I bought a Hawker jet, right, to get around. And my pilot was Reggie Jackson's pilot, the great baseball player.
Yeah.
And this dude was fearless, almost too fearless. And I loved him. But he would go into any storm. He didn't care because he was that he felt like he was that skilled, right? And we'd go up in the cockpit and he would show me and various things. And I would watch him coach the young guy because there's always a young pilot and an elder pilot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I just thought about that because there's a lot of, we called it slippage in sports.
Yep.
Between what you were taught to do and what you actually did. Okay? And when you think about military trains every day, world-class Olympians train every day, world-class people train every day. So why do you think businesses don't get that? So let's just take Fuel, for example, right? That's your new company.
Yep.
And that I think probably could be at some point $1 billion company.
Yep.
Okay? And I think that's where you're pushing it toward. And it's focused on micro learning sessions. And it's trying to solve a very specific problem. But let's explain how it works. Does the whole company get on it at the same time in the morning, or how does it work for a company?
Well, first of all, if anybody wants to check it out, it's myfuel.io. Just go and scroll through the webpage and see how it works. The goal was to change learning methodologies.
Okay.
In the days of events, it was great to host an event. It was great to have a training event. And in the overall stickiness of what people learn at an event, it's only about 5%.
Right.
And so you start to learn that, okay, so then we write books and then we do videos and, and then we have podcasts and we have all this stuff. And we realize that access to ideas is not the problem.
Right.
Okay. The opportunity is to take that idea into its smallest repeatable component.
Okay.
And then understand that mastery of that component unlocks mastery of the skill.
Okay.
And so one of the laws in high trust selling is called the law of the dress rehearsal.
Okay.
And what that law says is practicing your lines elevates your performance.
Okay.
So when I was doing loans, I bought a Radio Shack recorder and I laid down all the objections I was getting in the marketplace, and I recorded how I'd respond to those objections. And I listened to it and listened to it and listened to it and listened to it, right? And so today in the modern world of digitization and apps and things like that, we take, for example, a 200-page book, we strip it down to 20 pages, and we record micro content around the best 20 pages from the 200. Lots of stories, they're good, they help out, and then we test you on that. Testing's an option. It's not something that you have to look at it. But now what we did is we invented these AI models.
Okay.
So now you can role play before you make a call. We had a guy the other day that made $31,000 by role playing for 61 minutes with 3 different coaches on how to set appointments and how to convert clients. And he made $31,000 in one day.
Okay.
When my instructor said you're going to have to fly, you're going to have to land the plane as many times, before I sign off, he says, here's the worst part of landing you're at. Okay, you don't let the plane fly itself to the runway.
Okay.
At about 10 feet, you think the plane's going to land itself, so you let loose of the yoke.
Okay.
He said that's a great way to bury your prop.
Okay.
All right. My pilot said to me one day in a wind shear, it was scary, very scary. And we're sitting here and the whole plane's shaking, and he full throttles and goes around, and then we landed again. And I said to Larry, Larry, that was a good decision to go around. How did you make it? And he goes, I made that decision 25 years ago. And I, what do you mean? He goes, 25 years ago, I decided if I ever got in that situation, I'm going around.
Okay.
And so he's already prepared, right? He's already prepared and planned for that.
Yep.
And I think what ends up happening is business is a sport.
Yeah.
Business is, what does that mean? There's not a sport franchise in the world that wins without dedication, vision, and practice.
Yeah.
You know this as a coach. You practice more than you play.
Yep.
And what I tell people all the time, you're going to love this. This is a big table comment.
Yep.
And it may sound like just so really that you think that's profound. If you don't practice more than you play, when you play, you will look like you haven't practiced.
Yeah. That's funny.
And so you talk
true.
about business as a sport. Business is a sport. So if what part of the sport is scoring a touchdown, let's call scoring a touchdown in football the equivalent of making a sales call and converting that call to a big relationship, you better prepare. Like if it takes an hour to have that discussion, you better prepare for 100 hours. Imagine how good you would be on an hour meeting with a business client if you prepared for 100 hours. I met Joe Montana. My plane was in, and his plane were in a private jet terminal in San Diego, and we're both there, and we're getting ready to take off. And I said, Joe, before we get in the air, I know you're going there, and I know I'm going there, but how many hours a week do you practice for a football game? And he said, he goes like this. 50.
Wow.
And I go, wait. No, he goes 50. Between plays, between last game videos, between videos of games, with this quarterback on another team, between all of this, on play field practice, all that kind of stuff, mindset, conditioning, all that kind of stuff, 50 hours.
Yeah.
And I go, so your practice to play ratio is 50 to 1.
Yeah.
And he looked at me, he goes, no. I go, no, it's 50 to 1. He goes, no, it's not. I go, why? He goes, I'm only on the field for about 25 minutes. It's 100 to 1.
Wow.
And I go, that's why you're so good.
Yeah.
And he goes, and God gave me talent.
Yeah.
And so I sit here and I think about that, and then I think about the top 3% of salespeople, okay? If they practice in a 3 to 1 ratio, which is a GPT search I did 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
The average NFL player, if they practiced like the top 10% of salespeople, would be off the team in 3 weeks.
Yep.
That ought to make you hungry right there.
Well, there's 2 things that come up that you reminded me of. Early in my coaching career, we were not very good. My first couple of years, we were rebuilding a program. And my boss came down one day and he said, I got a question for you. And I said, yes, sir. He said, do you guys practice to be that bad?
That's great.
I never forgot that.
That is great.
Do y'all practice to be that bad? Okay. And I thought, no, man, we try to be good. But we're young and we're inexperienced and we're trying to win. And so, but when you think about those numbers, the practice time, because if you watch, I always use the example, if you watch Maverick, right? If I'm ever on a plane and I want to watch a movie, I watch Maverick. Something about it taps into my competitiveness and Top Gun. And those, if you really study those guys, they only fly for 45 minutes a day. The rest of the time is in training, right? They train way more.
They're at a big table.
They're at a big table. So there's something about, my hope is that when people watch this, they come to a very simple conclusion. We don't train our people. We don't train them enough. We don't test them. We don't simulate. We put them on the phones. They're not very skilled. The reason we're not hitting our numbers is there's not a shortage of money. There's a shortage of skill.
Yeah.
And a shortage of training and practice and repetition and role play and all of those things. So when you're thinking about it, Fuel is seeking to really solve that problem.
They're not only seeking to solve that problem, they're also in a mindset where we don't train people. We develop them.
Yep.
Okay. And here's a God spot for me. When I first started my learning company in 1994, I was sitting up late one night. It was probably 1 a.m. In the morning, and I was thinking, and just really trying to get my head around I'm still doing mortgages. I'm gonna start this speaking company, and I realized that my initials, TMD, stand for training, motivating, and developing.
Okay.
And what I found is that the motivation leads to the development.
Yep.
And if the development is rich, the training comes natural.
Okay.
It's the repetition of the wrong things that lead to the breakdowns and moving to the right things. But we just got this data in yesterday, and I'm going to share this. This is a company that's been on Fuel for 91 days.
Okay.
Their sales are up 150%.
Okay.
Their unit volume is up 102%. Their net profit is up 175.5%. And their net margin is up 36%. In 91 days. Yep. So what I'm saying to companies anywhere in the world that want to be their best and want to improve shareholder return and employee experience is how good are your people?
Okay.
Because if you're understanding that business is a sport, you can't have anything but A players.
Yeah.
And an A player doesn't have to be an A player when you hire him, but they want to be an A player as you develop them.
Right.
You train monkeys, you develop people, right? And so at the end of the day, Fuel is on demand, any device, anywhere in the world. All of our coaches, we have, maybe 250,000 minutes of AI coaching loaded in just our AI coaches.
Okay.
Had a call with a hotel chain yesterday. They wanted a demo on Fuel, and I said, what's the most important thing to you about this? And I went around the room, right? Same question I asked at Realtors. Head of sales and marketing says, I'd like my people to be better at closing corporations to choose our hotel for their events. Yep. And I go, okay, so watch this. So I pull up Fuel. I pull up a role play with a guy named Tom Searcy, and I go, Tom, I work at this hotel, and I need to really practice role playing so that when I call clients to see if I can engage them to come to our hotel and choose our hotel for events, that I do it very successfully. Yeah. And the AI bot, Tom, goes, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel your confidence is right now? And I go, it's a 4. Okay. And he goes, do you want me to be easy on you, or do you want me to come at you hard? I'll be the client. Do you want to do a role play easy or hard? And I go, I want to go hard. And he goes, okay, are you sure? And I go, yeah, I want to go hard. And 7 minutes later, he finally said, I think you're ready to make the call. But it was horrendous at the start.
Okay.
And it was literally like you and I sitting here and you playing the role of the vendor or playing the role of the decision maker, director of marketing, me playing the role of the vendor, and it was real. Yeah. And here's the problem. The problem with managers teaching people and developing people is they don't have the time, number one. They don't know where their people really need development, so what do they do? Yeah. They train everybody the same way on the same thing. Well, if I'm here and you're here, I don't need to be trained on what you need to be trained on, and if you try to get trained on what I need to be trained on, you're not even going to understand it because you're not good here yet, right? Yeah. So what Fuel does is it makes learning customized to the individual, and because the recommendation engines are pushing training that you can use your way to develop based on what you're already watching, then all of a sudden the manager's going, wow, so wait, I'm getting 16 hours a week back in management time because people aren't asking me questions anymore, or I don't have to actually sit down and do the role play with them. How many times, so the whole idea in business is make as much money as you can in as little time as you can by adding as much value as you can. Managers are going to go, this is like a gold mine because I don't have to come up with the learning. Yeah. If you were to hire all of our instructors, your speaking fee would be $2 million.
Yeah.
and you get them for, I don't know, 28 cents a minute in coaching.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean live coaching is not good.
Right.
It just means, like, if I'm a live coach today,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to talk to me every day.
Yep.
May not be
You can
me.
pitch and catch.
2 weeks from now, we'll have another live.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so it's been a real breakthrough. But, you know, my business model is transforming human lives. If you're a human, you're in my model.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because nobody wants to be worse than they are. They want to be better.
Right.
And the beauty of fuel is not just a business. It's everything. It's health. It's wellness. It's diet. It's, you know, it's relationship.
It's really a simulation of some of the best thought leaders.
Yeah.
And you can play pitch and catch with them.
Yeah.
Right? You could sit there and go back and forth with Coach Burt on Pray Drive. I'm low on Pray Drive today. What do I do, Coach Burt?
Yeah, let's see if we can do this real quick. Let's pull up Coach Burt. Let's see what Burt has to say. Seriously, let's just do this real quick. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go library, and then I'm going to go here, right here, and then I'm going to hit here, right here, and then I'm going to pull up this beautiful-looking guy right here, and then I'm going to go.
How can I help you today?
Hey, Michael, got a big appointment I'm doing with somebody. I'm scared to death. Have no call confidence right now. Can you help me?
Hey, I hear you loud and clear. Fear and lack of confidence before a big appointment is normal, but it doesn't have to control you. Here's a thought. Confidence is a skill you can build, not just something you either have or don't. Try this. Before your call, take a few minutes to activate your drive. Get your body moving, breathe deeply, and remind yourself why you're the right person for this. Visualize the call going well. See yourself handling objections with ease. Also remember, the goal isn't to be perfect, it's to be prepared and persistent. What's the one thing you want to make sure you say or do on this call?
I want to role play with you. I want you to be the buyer. I'm going to be the guy making the call. And I want to get an appointment with you to show you how I can add value to your business.
I love that. Role playing is one of the best ways to build confidence and sharpen your skills. Let me ask you something. Do you have a specific scenario or type of buyer in mind? Or should I create a typical buyer profile for you to practice with?
Yeah, why don't you create the buyer profile?
Got it. I'll create a buyer profile for you. You're calling a small business owner who's been struggling to grow their customer base and is open to new ideas but skeptical of sales calls. They value honesty and results, then they want to know how you can help them without wasting their time. When you're ready, start the call, and I'll respond as the buyer. Would you like me to give you feedback as we go or wait until the end?
Wait till the end.
Perfect. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and start the call.
Hey, Michael, I was giving you... Hey, Michael, I was given your name by James in town. You guys, I guess, own some small businesses together, and he told me you were really struggling with expanding your customer base. I've got 3 ideas that I've shared with him, and I'm just wondering if you'd be interested in meeting so that I could share those ideas with you and maybe help you out.
All right, I'm hearing you as the buyer now. Here's my response. Hey, I appreciate you reaching out. I'm definitely interested in growing, but I've had a lot of people call me with ideas that didn't really pan out. What makes your ideas different? How do I know this won't be a waste of my time? Take it from here when you're ready.
So one of the answers is how do you don't know it might be the best time you've ever spent? That'd be number 1. Number 2, if I don't produce the results, is it worth an hour of your time to experiment with it, whether I can do that or not? And do you really trust your friend James? Because if you trusted James, he wouldn't have asked me to give you a call. When can we meet?
Nice job pushing for the meeting and bringing James into the conversation. That's smart. Here's some feedback to sharpen it even more. When you say, how do you don't know it might be the best time you've ever spent? It sounds a little uncertain. Try flipping that to a confident statement like, I believe this could be the best hour you invest this year. Also, when you ask, if I don't produce results, is it worth an hour to experiment? You're doing great by framing it as low risk. You might want to add a quick example or proof point to back that up. And the trust angle with James is solid. Just make sure it feels natural, like you're genuinely connecting, not pressuring. Want to try that part again with those tweaks?
Sure.
All right, go ahead and give it another shot when you're ready. I'm here as the buyer.
I can appreciate your skepticism. Here's a couple thoughts. What if this hour becomes the best hour you've ever spent with somebody and it could change the trajectory of your business forever? Number 2, I have a formula that allows every customer that you do business with to bring in a new customer universe of at least 10 to maybe 100 new purchasers of your product. And if you really trust your buddy James, he wouldn't have asked me to meet with you in the first place. So I say all this from a position of confidence and also humility. I'm a relationship guy, and I think he wants us to meet because he cares about you. When's a good time to get together?
That was solid. You brought confidence. You added a clear value proposition with
How'd I do? Scale of 1 to 10. How'd I do?
I'd give you a strong 8. You showed confidence, addressed skepticism.
Okay, thank you very much.
That dude's good. He's got some good feedback. So basically, the people who are watching this, they could train with a guy like me.
Yep.
As much as they want.
Yep.
Play pitch and catch with me.
Yep.
As much as they want.
Yep.
Role play.
Yep.
Right? And then go and do.
Yep.
Okay.
So, but watch this. $280 puts you in fuel for the whole year.
Okay.
And gives you 1,000 minutes of AI coaching.
Okay.
Now you get to watch all your videos. You get to watch all the other instructor videos. That none of that has changed.
Okay.
But we just said we cannot distribute knowledge. Remember that moral, fiduciary, ethical challenge I had?
Yep.
We cannot distribute knowledge without giving you another level of making sure that knowledge becomes habit.
Yeah.
So that's what this AI is about. And managers are telling us, Coach, they're going, wait a minute, that's only 28 cents a minute. And one guy the other day says, I probably lose 10 times that a minute.
Yeah.
By not developing my people.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, the development of people, the recruiting and attracting.
Yeah.
The coaching and developing. The retaining and optimizing.
Right.
To me, that's where the money is, man.
Yeah.
Todd Duncan, this has been great, man. Woo! We could go on for hours and hours and hours, and you're going to be here tonight for Whiskey and Wisdom.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in and doing that for me. And I'm excited to be on Fuel, and I think it's going to be incredible. I'm flying out to Vegas here in a few weeks to film some courses.
That's going to be fun.
And thank you for getting me to some of the conferences you're doing. And you really I've told people today, so I've set very high expectations tonight.
That's good.
Hope you don't mind.
Pressure's on.
But I just said, man, this dude works really hard to connect to people. And he's probably one of the best in the world at that. So thank you for being on the big table, man.
You're welcome.
All right.
Man.
Coach Michael Burt, another edition of the Big Table, folks. Biggest opportunity, biggest game in business. I'm at the Level 10 Studios here at the Greatness Factory of Nashville. We can't wait for you to come see us.